Welcome back to the Warhammer World Championship. Apologies for being away for a few days. Had a holiday here in the US and had some other family stuff going on. But anyway, we're going to return to the action with an excellent series. So I hope you brought your popcorn, whatever other snack you prefer, handheld. This is going to be a doozy. Yeah, we've got Rider of Rohan here, the away team against Orion here. Home team and Empire versus Kislev. What a way to start this clash of men immediately. Outriders opening fire on some horse archers over here on the side. Rider of Rohan's also got some Griffin Legion. He's got some Kossars and some Kislevite warriors spread around. Frostworm here and Mother Ostankia. Looking pretty good here with plenty of spells. Yeah, he's got the Vengeance of Spirits, which I believe if we check the overcasts, yeah, it gives like extra power recharge, but damage, which is interesting. And then, yes, the Chain Curse of the Ancient Witch is, yeah, a nice little chain hex here. Missile block chance and armor reduces, or it gives a missile buff. Friendly units if you overcast it. Always got to remember with that lore of hags, when you overcast the spells, they do something different. But turning our attention to the Empire, we already saw the Outriders there. Free Company getting charged. Demigryph Knights, a couple of them with halberds, one without, two without, in fact. A lot of heavy cavalry there. Interesting. Very interesting approach, actually. I kind of like it. Alto Griffites here as well. Free Company Militia, Jade Wizard. So really just banking on these Demigryph Knights. Let's see how that plays out. Super interesting approach, trying to just kind of out-quality Kislev here on cavalry, just because it seems like Kislev is not super likely to take the bear cavalry here, just given that the Empire is kind of overkill, honestly. Like, Griffin Legion get the job done against most Empire cavalry just fine. Here we see some Demigryphs charging. Kislevite warriors going to pop Fireblood immediately. This Demigryph Knight gets caught out without support and suffers the fate of what is typical Demigryph Knight behavior these days, just getting dragged down. Yeah, I mean, a lot of value here. Sending the other Demigryph Knight also to just die alone is not probably the best play, but there we go. Orion's going to get that one eaten up. The Outriders here also getting eaten up in melee by the Horse Archers, who definitely have better melee stats. But with the life support here, they're just absolutely grinding through whatever Kislev troops coming their way. Rider of Rohan doing a nice job continuing to push up his Kossars here, supporting these individual infantry engagements, getting those Kislevite warriors into the Free Company Militia, chasing around the Outriders, really just killing all the support, winning every other phase, and just seeing, ooh, this is going to be interesting. This death ball of Demigryphs. This is a proper amount of support here, although you might want to spread them out and try and take some different angles. Regardless, we get one of the halberds into the Frostworm. Another halberd is going to go into, looks like they're looking for a Stankia there. Demigryph Knight also goes into Griffin Legion, but we see the chain hex deployed there, puts them down to 60 armor only. I mean, 120 base, 125 to be specific. Base is very good, but yeah, that is going to be pretty devastating. Also removes the missile block chance for the one that matters. The halberds, of course, do not have shields, but yeah, interesting use of that, just to help the Griffin Legion here. They're non-AP, of course, but they just are super high damage in general. Moving that armor, love the synergy there. Classic armor reduction strat. It's definitely been one of my favorites over the years. Nice to see Rider of Rohan still employing it all these years later. Still. Not like I invented it by any means, but yeah, we used it on each other quite a bit back in the day. Good times. Meanwhile, Stankia is also getting involved in melee, trying to finish off this Jade Wizard here. Looking like a pretty quick victory for Kislev. But let's see if the Empire can perhaps hang on here. They were able to rout off a couple of Griffin Legions just straight off the side there. Free Company are, you know, at least distracting, tying up quite a bit of value here as well. The Huntsman General is also just like, glad to be here. Cheap Lord just running around, not doing a lot, but better than just a regular Footlord, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Rider Rohan's not really one to snipe Lords super egregiously, so it didn't really bring a lot of Lord sniping here, which would have been good against the Huntsman General. But, I mean, just in terms of value, I mean, yeah, the Huntsman General is going to return pretty minimal value, honestly. It's just been too far from the fight. Really, the only thing he should be shooting at here is like the Frostworm or Ostankia, but yeah, Demigryph Knights are going to pull away there. Jade Wizard is off the field, and that's pretty much game for the Empire with that. Fast forward. Stankia and the Frost Worm gonna take down General. But let's go to game 2 after analyzing the post-battle results, of course. And we'll take a look and see if Orion can get back in on the series. As for units performance, yeah, some of the Free Company do okay. They're relatively cheap, so I kind of like the pick here. And I like the approach. Unfortunately, I think it's just so much value, really. And the Demigryph Knights without support are just kind of bad. They're really, to be honest, some of the worst sort of monstrous high-tier elite cavalry in the game right now. They just, yeah, they really... Melee stats are not great in terms of their attack and defense. Decent charge bonus on the lance ones. But the halberds have a really nice anti-large bonus, but the performance for the cost is really just not great. And given how expensive they are, and given kind of the Empire's roster, often you can't have great support with them, especially when you're taking this many. So they end up kind of just getting swamped by units which are often cheaper and can just kind of team up and destroy them. For Kislev here, we see just nice value spread all the way around. The horse archers in particular being able to counter the outriders. Really nice call. And Kossars just in general, Kislev warriors all trading quite cost effective with all their Empire counterparts. Not that Empire had like a traditional front line here, but I guess swordsmen and crossbowmen might trade similarly. Yeah, Kislev warriors a little bit expensive, but hard to say. Instead of Empire going more the traditional route, I like this non-traditional route, but it did not end up working. Let's see if Orion can get back on the board in game 2. Next, we've got an absolutely incredible matchup. Very fun one for sure. Lizardmen versus Wood Elves. Super interesting matchup for a few different reasons. Lizardmen missiles, of course, means that the dinos, big monsters, are basically a no-go completely here. But the Lizardmen do have one thing that gives Wood Elves potentially a really hard time, and that is quietly they probably have the best mid-tier cavalry in the game, in my opinion. The Cold One Spear Riders and Cold One Riders, given their just excellent weapon strength. It's not like they have the most charge bonus, but they got decent enough HP, armor, shields on both variants, which is really nice. A lot of anti-large cavalry do not get shields, as we saw with the Demigryph Knight halberds in the last game, so really, really nice there. Orion's got a few of them all spread across this massive build. Skink Skirmishers as well, and Skink Cohort with Javelins to pad out the numbers. Got some Feral Cold Ones in here. A Slawn of Life. And that's basically the build. Just absolutely massive line of stuff. And opposing him, Rider Rohan has an equally massive horde of Wood Elves. We've got Eternal Guards and Glade Guards coming out the ears. All sorts of Starfire Shafts, Hagbane Tips, Race to the Frozen Heart here in the center. Some Wild Riders, looks like 1-2 Wild Riders, and then a Dark Spellweaver. Yes, very, very dark and sinister Spellweaver. Glade Captain as well on the Stag for some elite counter attack. Let's see how it does. Immediately, the Lizard's going to surge forward in one nice cohesive line. Cold One Riders not outrunning their infantry too much, but yeah, when Wood Elves face a lot of heavy cavalry, it can potentially be quite problematic. That said, Rider Rohan's a very skilled player. He has probably faced these mass cavalry rushes multiple times, so he's going to potentially know how to deal with this. I like the lime green color scheme, by the way, for the Wood Elves. But Cold One Spear Riders, Cold One Riders just surging through the ranks, getting into the archers wherever they can. Race to the Frozen Heart going to countercharge and get some of the Cold One Riders actually in a pretty nice engagement. Love the Glade Captain anti-large support there. Yeah, you see this Cold One Spear Rider gets destroyed by arrows. So here in the center, Lizardman pushed, facing some troubles, but he is going to pop that shield to the old ones out on the flanks, doing a little bit better, facing down the Wild Riders, which have forever struggled against heavy cavalry, given that they are themselves quite light and just end up kind of dying. Here, though, they're actually doing okay. This other flank going better for Rider Rohan, definitely. A little bit of healing, though, from the live Slawn. Looks like it only caught those Skink Skirmishers, but still using the Skink Skirmishers to chase routing units and actually just running into melee and engaging the Glade Guard. Absolutely big brain play from Orion here. It is quite quite impressive. I mean, it makes sense, though. The Skink's speed is super high. Their stats are not great. The Hagbane tips, or the Glade Guards in general, just have better melee stats, but at least you're trying to interrupt as many unit models as possible from firing and allow your cavalry to maneuver without taking quite so much damage. A few of the models are still firing, might be on guard mode there, still giving a shooting order, but there you go. You get enraged, Feral Cold One straight into attacking the Glade Guard, so a little bit of careful what you wish for there, part of those Wood Elves. Anyway, yeah, Cold One Spear Riders rolling through side of Eternal Guard here. Wild Riders trying to respond. Wood Elves actually doing okay. Ooh, really nice get by Rider of Rohan here. They might be able to seal out the series with this. Gets the Life Salon with the Glade Captain. Glade Captain has to be screened here by a few Cold One Riders. Can't imagine they'll last too long. And the Salon of Life, let's see if he rallies in time, could heal himself and potentially survive this. But right now, definitely a big risk getting killed. That being said, there's still so much mobility on the field for Lizardmen. If we take a look all around, we've got Feral Cold Ones, Cold One Riders, Spears still quite healthy. This Cold One Spear is taking a decent amount of damage, but Salon does come back. Going to give himself a little Earthblood there. Shield of the Old Ones as well for some damage resistance. See how long he can hang in this fight as the Spellweaver and the Glade Captain continue to pursue. He gets some units coming back from route right at a clutch time. Let's see if those clever girls can screen, perhaps. A little rear charge here from these Cold One Riders. Nope, they're going to stay fighting the skirmishers, fighting those archers. And speaking of skirmishers, yeah, the Skink Blowpipes and those Skink cohort have run down most of the archers here. In fact, I think there is 0 Glade Guards currently. Yeah, that one is the final one there that routes, so impressive stuff. Very impressive. Orion, oh, the Salon just barely surviving here too, popping that cold-blooded to keep the leadership up, down below 500 HP. A little bit of blade wind on the part of Rider of Rohan's Spellweaver. Oh, the Salon does go down, though. Glade Captain manages to sneak through and poke that spear. Pop the balloon. Toad balloon. Yes. Will it be enough, though? You see the balance of power, even with that, turning against the Wood Elves, as it's basically just the 2 characters left, and they are quite light characters at that. I mean, big, sturdy Stag is still not that much armor at the end of the day. It has a good amount of HP, but getting surrounded by lizards in the shadow of the tree on the Altdorf outskirts. That's going to be it for them. And Orion will be taking the win on this one. Very impressively so, I must add. Quite a battle, quite a win. Definitely a fun one for sure. Even though both games relatively quick. I mean, both players are kind of playing rush play styles, so makes sense to a degree. But yeah, look at this. Skink Skirmishers, decent value, but just the absolute mad lad play of running them into melee with Glade Guards. Absolutely love that, to be honest. Skink Cohorts also really cost effective when they can use their javelins well, and they're even better at running down the Glade Guards because they actually have the melee stats to back it up to a degree. Clever Girls also, great value, just insane cost effectiveness pretty much across the board here. Maybe the one the unit didn't quite pay for itself is the Cold One Spear Riders, but I mean, tactically they did what they need to, just raw value-wise didn't pay for themselves, but I mean, the few cavalry that Rider of Rohan had also didn't really do a lot. One almost got 900 there, but overall, yeah, Eternal Guards definitely had a lot of targets, so they're going to feast on some value for sure. Race of the Frozen Heart got a nice engagement initially in that front line, but ultimately just we're not able to do enough to protect all these archers here. Massive line of archers, and there's a school of thought that just says, like, yeah, I'll take so many archers that even if some of them die, the others can turn and shoot and should be able to get enough value. But ultimately here, just, yeah, what is this? That, like, 7 heavy cavalry plus 2, like, heavy war beast units. That's a lot. 9 units to have to account for. They're high mass, high armor, rushing into your backline. Really, really excellent stuff from Orion here. So he's earned that 1-1, and rather than keep you in suspense, I'll just tell you that in Game 3, Rider of Rohan's Crone Hellebron got absolutely pin-cushioned by Roglud's Armored Orcs, leading to his Dark Elves losing the battle, and Orion winning the series with a 2-1. Very impressive stuff Tough day for Ryder Rohan, but no doubt he'll bounce back, and hopefully we'll see him again in the tournament. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. You're enjoying the format. Be sure to give the video a like, share with a friend if you did enjoy it. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.